All right, let's get right into it. In this explainer, we're not just going to learn biology. We're going to learn how to absolutely ace the exam. We're taking a real AQA GCSE Biology question, and we're going to break it down, piece by piece, to show you exactly how to get every single mark. Let's dive in.
It's the big question, isn't it? You spend hours revising, you feel like you know the content, but what's the secret sauce to turning that knowledge into actual marks on the paper? Well, you know what? The answer is hiding in plain sight, and today we're going to unlock it together.
So check this out. On the left, you've got the exam paper. That's our challenge. And on the right, that's the official AQA mark scheme. This thing, it's our secret weapon. By looking at these two side by side, we can learn to think exactly like the person who's going to be marking your paper.
Okay, let's kick things off with question 121, a classic one-marker. Which blood vessels are affected by coronary heart disease? This is a pure knowledge question. No messing around. They are looking for one specific thing.
And boom, there it is. The mark scheme could not be clearer. One word, arteries. That's it. No need for a long sentence, no other options. Just the precise, correct term. And just like that, that's your first mark in the bag.
All right, moving on to 1.2, and this one's worth 2 marks. Now, the key here is that command word explain. That word is a huge clue. It's telling you, hey, don't just state a fact. Connect the dots for me. Show me you understand the why.
So, what are those two connected points? The mark scheme spells it out for us. First mark is for saying the pressure pushes or moves blood, and the second mark for linking it to the result. This is done to get oxygen around the body. You got to have both to get the full 2 marks. Simple as that.
Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. This is the behind-the-scenes info, the examiner's notes. This stuff is gold dust. So check this out. It tells you that saying get oxygen to the brain is totally fine, but say get oxygen to the lungs and nope, you lose the mark. That's a super common mistake, by the way. And notice this, they're told to ignore any mention of restarting the heart. It's all about the specific biological process.
Okay, next up, 1.3, another one marker. The command word this time is describe. So we're talking about rescue breaths. What's the one key thing they're after here?
The answer is super precise. It provides oxygen. That little bit in brackets for respiration, that's just bonus detail to show you really know your stuff. The examiner's notes also say that accept the idea that carbon dioxide can trigger breathing to restart. So there's a bit of wiggle room, but the main point they want is oxygen.
Okay, 1.4 is another straight-up knowledge recall question. The person's got high cholesterol. It's asking you to name the drug that helps with this. Again, they're just looking for one specific name.
And yep, the answer is just statin, or statins. They'd also accept a specific brand name if you happen to know one, but honestly, just knowing statins is enough to bank that mark. Easy peasy.
All right, 1.5. We're back to a 2-mark explain question. This time, it's about stents. And remember what explain means, right? It's all about cause and effect. What does the stent do, and what happens because of it? And here's how you get those 2 marks, laid out perfectly. First, you've got to say, the stent opens or widens the blood vessel. They'd even allow keeps the vessel open. That's mark 1. And the consequence? It's done to allow more blood to flow. One action, one result. Boom. 2 marks in the bag.
Okay, switching gears a little bit for 1.6. We're moving into data handling. You're given a table and you need to give 2 conclusions. This is a big one. They're not just asking you to read numbers off a table. They want you to tell them what those numbers mean. What's the story here?
So the cool thing is the mark scheme gives you a few different ways to get this right. You just need to pick any 2 of these. You could go for the big picture, smoking increases the risk for all the diseases listed, or you could get specific and compare them. Say that the risk for disease H goes up the most, while the risk for disease E goes up the least. Any 2 of those, and you've got full marks.
All right, now for the big kahuna of this question. 1.7 is a graph drawing task, and it's worth a whopping 4 marks. I know drawing graphs can feel a little scary, but honestly, these are some of the easiest marks you can get, as long as you have a system.
And this is the system. It's basically a 4-point checklist. You get a mark for labeling your y-axis with the right words and units. You get another for picking a sensible scale that fills the space. A 3rd mark for plotting all your bars accurately, and a 4th for making sure each bar is labeled. Just tick those 4 boxes, and those 4 marks are all yours.
All right, we're in the home stretch now. Question 128. It asks you to describe a lifestyle factor, but there's a big catch. You can't talk about smoking. We've already covered that in the data questions, so they want something else from you.
And once again, the mark scheme gives you a whole menu of correct answers.
You could talk about a poor diet, and hey, you can even get specific, like mentioning a diet high in saturated fat. That works too. Or you could say lack of exercise, high alcohol intake, or even a stressful job. Just one of these gets you the final mark.
And that's it. That's the whole question. We've just deconstructed every single part of question 1. You see, when you start thinking like an examiner and use that mark scheme as your roadmap, all 14 of those marks are right there for the taking. It's all about precision and understanding what they're actually asking.
When you break it down like this, you can see it's not some big mystery, is it? There's a clear, simple logic to how you get every single point. So I've got one last question for you. Now that you've seen the playbook, you know exactly what they want. What's stopping you from getting full marks?